let's get started. So basically what this training is gonna be about is like mostly like the general aspect of leadership, where we're gonna take examples and talk mainly about also the squad lead, the platoon lead, and the company lead. So all three aspects, try to understand them and how they differently operate and how we can profit from each other's knowledge. Therefore, we're going to see the structure of the company with the radio structure. We're going to look a bit at the SOPs, mostly at the end. We're going to focus on map and strategic planning and like efficient communication and how to replace like missing elements like the JFO and the FAQ. And we're going also to take a look at things necessary for savage marking, but also for general reconnaissance, and also MQ9 Reaper as example for drone spotting and making use of the optics the drones have to offer. So kicking it off with the structure of the company, it consists first of our command element, which is company command, consisted of a company commander, the company executive officer, and the company forward air controller, followed by two platoons that are each led by a platoon leader, a platoon sergeant with support from a JFO, and a platoon medic. Each platoon has 4 squads, with the 4th squad each being a heavy weapon squad with heavy AT capabilities. Then we have also 3 times ground, 3 times Butcher assets, so our armored assets, Bradley, Striker, Ogre is our ground-based logistics, Savage for artillery, and then for the air we have Stalker, either reinserts or also logistics and supplies, Demon, can be an Apache, whatever attack helicopter we have available, Reaper, A-10 or the F-35, and Chevy are like our big transport planes, the C-130 Hercules, I guess. I don't really know the designations. So, platoons report to Assassin 6. Butchers can be attached to one of the 2 platoons. Normally that is given by company command. But like in reality, company commands comes often online after the an operation has already been planned, played out, and started. So most of the times when we come on before server restart, we just like take over, yes. Well, we won't interfere all too much with the current structure or how it's organized until like after they have finished that current objectives. Yeah. So Butcher falls as said under platoon command, which wasn't always the case. It used to be under command of 6 if he was online. Now it's really under the command of the respective platoon leader. Ogre operates mainly behind front lines and does logistics and the resupply ones, and also collects all the supplies for building and stuff. Savage, artillery. They are nearly always directed by the JFOs, and in their absence by the platoon leader, and the platoon leader only, or the company commander. Let's get a bit deeper into the JFO and FAQs, because like they're a bit interesting. So the company possesses over 2 joint forward observers, which are distributed into the 2 platoons. So basically what that means, the JFOs direct artillery, so that they can call in for fire support. And they also direct our CAS assets, giving them ingress lines, egress lines and stuff, what to hit, where the allies. The forward air controller manages all the air around and outside of the designated AO. On a side note is that the FAQ is the only one that has no permissions to call artillery strikes, but the FAQ has the final say in all fire missions that are requested by the JFOs. So what do we do if there's now no JFO available? So the JFO can be replaced by the respective platoon leader. So the platoon leader have authority to call in artillery strikes. The same goes for 6.6. They also have the authority. Or like, if I saw correctly, in general, the company command element, so also 6.7 has permission to call in artillery. However, they also do have permissions to call in CAS, be it by fixed wing or rotary. But there's one exception. If there are more players than more than 50 players, there has to be a JFO or no CAS, air CAS can be requested. Even if there's no JFO online, air CAS cannot be requested. Any questions so far? That's what I like to hear. So, yes.
Do you realize everyone is muted here?
I know. They unmute themselves when they have questions.
Yeah, but I'm just I'm just listening. Like, so.
Being respectful.
But yeah, it's not
Just
my
want to
first.
call it out.
It's not my first training. I'm used to this by now. Oh.
Kind of wishing that your ship AI is here. Fuck.
Let's switch to ArmA then. Let's do the same on my recording real quick.
Yeah, it's like I missed a lot, it seems, yesterday because I joined late. Like this description you gave right now, like they are very important.
It's like also very brief. So if you have any more questions concerning that, feel free to just like ask, later on.
Yeah, sure.
Let me just check that this has worked indeed. My ArmA sometimes has some problems that I don't really like. Good. Now I'm going to talk about a bit about the map. So basically, the map is your best friend in ArmA. So you can toggle it between like the textures where you can see the textures of the terrain a bit, and like the bright white with only like forest and like these areas marked. The white one has the advantage that you have a much better view of these lines. What this basically means, these lines are like the changes in the terrain. In combination with those numbers you see here, those numbers mark the height of the terrain above sea level. So sea level is gonna be 0, so that means the height of the water. That's level 0. And everything above is then marked with these numbers. So we know that this one is approximately on like 61 meters above sea level. Now that we have here 41, we know that it goes downhill. So the closer the lines now are, the steeper the hill is. Yeah? And that gives you a general idea of like how the map is consistent and how the terrain is for strategic planning. We're coming back to this because like this is going to be very important. What we then can also see is like stones and rocks, and also structures like the walls. Radio towers are even marked with their own marker as a point of interest. Same goes for fuel stations, as you can see here. You also have like your roads and stuff. So really the map is your very, very best friend, and it's going to help you a lot. Let's turn off the audio for me real quick, because that's getting annoying. Good. If you have any questions, feel free to just interrupt me and ask them as we go on. So now we're moving on to NATO symbols. And I'm realizing how stupid I am because I'm going to do this in the browser again. Just for a quick overview. So let's go back into the browser, also here. There you go. So I'm not going to get all the ArmA markers we have, but this gives me like the customization to just like give you an idea of how much worth such NATO symbols can be. So you have the base forms, which are like this blue rectangle, which stands for Blue Fort Allied Units. You then have the unknown. The unknown is always yellow. In ArmA, we don't have that shape. So what we most of the times use is like a rectangle, a yellow rectangle to mark unknown. which means we don't know what it is and of which affiliation it is, so which side it is assigned to. Then we have neutral, a green rectangle. We then also have hostile, our op4, the op4, which is also marked in red. And then you have also civilians, which is also going to be a rectangle, but like violet filled. The color is called civilian in ArmA. We're going to take a look at this at some point. So now,
I have a question.
yes.
So as JFO and as company command, I know you have access to drones. Can you get a 10-digit grid from your drone when you're using it like in conjunction with the MICRODagr, or is it only through the
It's only to the vector.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, it's only to the vector. Where was? So you have now your base symbol. Like this now just indicates there are friendly units, there are enemy units. Now we want to have more details, yeah? So what we can now do is like give it, you should type it right, a symbol inside of it. So this cross basically means infantry. And this also exists for all the other types of affiliations, as you can see. But we're going to continue for the example with the Allied. So you also then have like the mechanized infantry, which would technically be Butcher in this case, marked with the symbol for ArmA, which is this stretched circle with the infantry symbol. You also have motorized infantry, which is basically also just like this line in addition. And you see, you have like already what you can do with such a symbol. You just look at the symbol, no, that's motorized, that's foot, that's mechanized. No. Let's see if I can find the armor. Yeah. Like that's the pure armor, which is mostly tanks and stuff. You have also air defense, it is called. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, here. So air defense is basically marked by such a symbol. Like I'm going to show all the symbols in ArmA real quick, but now taking as example the infantry again. And this is now unfortunately what I'm going to show, not really possible with ArmA, except you have a mod for that exists. But basically you can go ahead, and that's going to be interesting for CTab because CTab has one additional marking, which are those here above, that designate the strength. So you have like a team, squad strength, section. Sections are 2 to 3 squads, while a platoon are 3 to 4 squads. Yeah. So you can imagine like section, 2 squads, a platoon, 2 sections. But like we don't play with sections, so the platoon commander has command over squads. Then you have like the company, battalion, regiment, and so on and so forth. So how the assassin elements are most of the time displayed on CTab is either as a squad, or sometimes, because they have a lot of manpower, also as a section. But like, do not let yourself be irritated by this. So the same goes then also for enemies. So CTab, you can mark the enemy strength. So you can like mark it with platoon. And there you already see one symbol, a lot of meaning. Like I see that symbol. Oh, there's a platoon size. That's around 40 people, approximately. From such a little symbol. I don't even have text. So what you now have, like you can also like add stuff. For this example, I'm going to use friendly. Like we can say that's like, in this case, if we're talking from a platoon, this is like 1/6 first platoon, the Karma company. And like this is not possible with ArmA, but like I just want to include it. Like you can also give you like exact positions if it's reinforced or like that reduced. So if they have reduced numbers, like staff comments, like additional information, you see what you can do. Like you can also describe the effectiveness and the evaluation of that unit. Like there are so many possibilities. But like, as I said, we don't use it, and like we have it marked like the elements, like the assassin elements are like marked like. Yeah, I can't write.
I mean, you can put the marker on ArmA and just put the 3 black dots on top.
No, you
What
can't.
do you think? Like,
That's
like
actually
it
not a
wouldn't.
thing. Like I'm gonna
Oh,
show you
alright.
real quick. That's only a thing in
Okay.
CTab. So we're gonna see that now.
No, I mean like you put a marker and then just use the marker on ArmA to like
Yeah, I'm
put
gonna show
3
you
other
why.
dots.
I know what you mean, and I'm gonna show you why that doesn't really work well. There's a reason why that doesn't work well. So, getting back into ArmA. So, we have here the colors. And what I always, like, it can be time consuming to get, like, the white markers out. What I always recommend, because, like, the most types of enemy we're going to encounter is, like, enemy infantry. So, most of the times have, like, this, like, set out. So, I just click and can mark enemy infantry. Yeah, really quick. So, taking a quick look, we have our 3 base shapes also here in ArmA. And I'm going to also mark them differently. Like this is now for civilian. You see the purple color. Also now the independent. And then you have also op for and like unknown marked like this. Yeah. And you also see it's for me now in German, but you have like your 5 base colors written out. Like blue for op for resistance, civilian, and unknown side. Yeah. Very, very easy. You also have like here the markers with their meaning. So going back to blue for, we have like here our infantry as we saw. This is the motorized, the mechanized, our armor. And it continues. Like you also have like the reconnaissance, but we don't use those. Helicopters and planes you're not going to mark because they are currently moving, so no need in marking them. We don't have water vehicles that much. What is sometimes useful is for the platoon medic to mark a position, but like for marking platoon medic position, we often use the CCP. This for the CCP. Yeah. So getting back to the symbols, you have artillery or savage.
And what
Yeah.
about the rally point? Is there a marker for that?
As for like marking that stuff, like we just use what we see fitting and then name them. Like that's a good question. We're getting there. Finishing off like those symbols really quick. You also have like maintenance if Ogre is in the field, for example. I saw actually Ogre having set up like a repair network and a resupply network if they, for like just in case if they're getting more active. Here you have the AA. And mines. That's also how I mark my mines with those markers here. You see? And also like if we have like, that's now preference. So talking about AA real quick. I do give my markers additional information of the type. So if I have like a Shilka, I'm gonna type it like this. So just like mark it with the appropriate symbol and type Shilka. Now I'm making the reference, but that's up to everyone. If there's a static AA or a static MG, I'm going to use this symbol, which is, I don't know how it's called in English, unfortunately, but it's like the symbol with that black rectangle on top of it. Yeah. I'm just going to name it static MG. And if I'm now in the drone where I can mark really exact positions, I'm also going to name it exact. So people know it's an exact marker.
I'm in ArmA right now. It's installation in English.
Installation. Thank you. So now, how do you know if those markers are still up to date? Well, it's fairly easy. And that's now on your part, because like you can check here the marker timestamp, which then means like if you now press OK, it will display the current map time. And like this, you can check if it's still up to date or how old it is. Like if it's an hour old, you know like this is not gonna be accurate anymore. Yeah. And you see how much information you can put onto like one single symbol. Like these small symbols, like they don't seem like much, but like if I put it like here, there's more than enough. You see, that's still a current thread. It's a Shilka, it's an AA. Like even if you don't know the terms of the vehicles and know the symbol, you will still know what thread there is. Yeah. So coming now to the ingress markers and stuff. That's actually a good question. We're going to use... Do we have a city that I can use that has no LZ markers? No. We're going to use the big city one. So, you asked about which markers we use to mark rally points and stuff. It depends. Like, everyone makes their own thing. So, we have, like, the cross that's your general purpose. We use that. We also use points sometimes. Or the flags. And something I sometimes also use is like just basically this marker. So you have 2 different markers, but like in the end, it is like how you name it. So what we do in like first platoon regroup, for example. You see? And then everyone knows like we're regrouping here. So I might get my notes real quick because I have a window over it. There we go. So. Yeah. That about markers. You can use the arrows, but like a faster way than using the arrows is like just pressing Control Shift and then hold, and you can draw straight lines, as you can see. Yeah. So you have also raised the question now that I'm remembering. Why don't we use dots to mark our strength of the unit? It's fairly simple. So I'm gonna zoom in. Now you would think we could mark it accurately if we zoom in, yeah?
Wait, wait just a second. I cannot see your screen.
You can?
Maybe it's an issue of mine. Okay.
Nope. Let me restart it.
Yeah, I can see now. I
There you
can
go.
see now.
So basically, now you see. Now I marked it like we would like mark a platoon. Yeah. The problem now is if we scroll out.
I cannot see again for some reason. I don't know if it's my issue or not. Because I was seeing just a moment
Can you
before.
see it, Sanya?
Huh?
Can you see my stream?
Yes.
Oh shit, wait. Okay, sorry.
No, that happens. It's perfectly fine.
Is your Discord all right now?
Oh,
Don't worry, like it happens. Like technical difficulties
yeah,
can happen
I
to
will
all
just
of us.
restart it completely. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
And we can wait a bit. We can use that time to talk about any questions you might have. Oh, that went fast.
Okay, I can see clearly now.
Does it work?
Yeah, now yeah. I
Good.
don't know what happened.
So you see now our NATO symbol, and I marked it with the 3 points as you suggested
yeah, you
earlier.
did it.
So, but now if I zoom out,
Yeah, it doesn't work.
that's why we don't do it. Before we now continue on to strategic placement and get more into the depths with these symbols, we're going to take a look at CTab. So basically you have like 2 different tablets, like the rocket tablet, and I'm going to get really quick also the proper Android, because now it depends on what you're playing, because like the squad leader will not have that much use of like the commander's tablet than the platoon commander, for instance. So let me get it real quick. You can find this under the terminal section on the arsenal. So you can also just need them to have your inventory there still work. So opening up like the main tablet. We're going to kick things off with the tablet because like the Android is pretty much similar. It has just less functions. So we have like our map. So what's now interesting about this map? Like we have the options. We can also toggle the map textures as we are used to. But like now we have here at the bottom right corner something interesting. So you see as the numbers move, as I move my cursor. So those numbers you see there are it's like the distance at coordinates of where I'm currently focused having my mouse. So let's say we use this grid. We know now it's grid 017, 020. Yeah. It is 60 meters above sea level. The next number is like the distance from us, airline. So the air distance, which is like 1 kilometer. And for my current positions, it's northeast 47 degrees. Yeah. So this gives you an opportunity to really measure distances really fast. Because how I did it in the day when I didn't have CTab, yeah. Let's say we are currently here at the start, and like we have like we want an artillery strike. No, by example, but like we're going to set a point here. But there were times where I had to measure distances. So how I would do it was draw a line and use the Pythagoras theorem, which is basically a equals the square root of b to the power of 2 plus c to the power of 2. Yeah, that's how I used to calculate distances really accurately. Because why did I do this? We know that these small grids are 100 by 100 meters. If you zoom out, you see those bigger grids. Those are 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. And those really fat-ass grids are 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer. And like, those numbers are really reliable because like the grid sizes never change. Yeah? So yeah, be happy you have those terminals because those make distances fairly easy. As you can see, like I can just select like, let's see how far is Demon out. 2.5 kilometers. You see, simple. Now, a quick, get quickly back to the grids. So if you have a grid here, for example, let's say this is our grid. How do we determine, like, which numbers do we take here? It's fairly simple. The grid you look at the bottom left corner, yeah? We start by the top number, so we follow that line up. We see 0 to 0, which is the first 3 numbers you see on the bottom right. Now, still at the bottom left corner, we go then to the left or the right and see 0, 1, 6. Now if we will see it's the grid 0, 2, 0, 0, 1, 6. So if we want grid references, always reference the bottom left corner of that grid. Yeah? Good. So now that we are already in CTab, I can now show you what I meant earlier. So you can mark enemies, the type. Let's go with infantry. And here you can, as I said, determine the size. So platoon. And also something really interesting is like, now, like you see now, timestamp, the size, and the type. But enemies can be moving. Yeah, enemies can move. Like, especially in a city, combat can be very dynamic. Now we want to mark where they are headed. CTab can do that. So we mark again, like here, in this case, an infantry squad. And they're heading to the south. Let's just take south. And you have an arrow pointing down the south. And we know they will move along the road here. Yeah. Are there any questions so far concerning this? Or are we clear?
I have no questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for me it's clear too.
Oh, no questions. Bye bye. Okay. Now that we understood CTab, let's continue with the other buttons that the commander's tablet has. So we can get UAV live feeds of the drones we have currently in the AO. We can also, from the tablet, without using a UAV terminal connecting to the drone, we can like just view the gunner optics and steer the gunner optics and even change to the controls, but like, no, use the proper terminal for that. Why is that now really great feature? Well, for example, if I'm a 7er steering the drone and having control of it, like the platoon, my 6 doesn't need to get like a proper terminal. He can just get his tablet on and just connect to the drone gunner without me needing to disconnect my terminal. Easy, no? Then you have helmet cams, as you can see here. And I really, and I mean it, I really urge every command element to have a helmet camera if they're deployed into the field. I had it more than enough times that I tried to reach someone, be it a squad, be it the platoon, and I didn't know what happened until someone felt the urge to step up and say something. So basically, I can see if someone's down if they're not responding. Like on the squad level, it's a bit harder, but like on a platoon level, the squad leaders know what's going on, and they can advise 6 if he tries to reach them. Because like at some point, if I don't getting a response like after many tries, I'm gonna switch to their frequency. So on the be now me trying as company commander trying to reach a platoon, I would go onto the platoon net, which would be 3-1 in that case. And then if it is a squad, I'm getting on their short range. Yeah. That's why helmet cameras can be very valuable. And then you have also text messages, and you can write people like whatever message you need, or like small inquiries, or like long information tags, so you don't need to use radio. All possibilities. Yeah. And then you can like do some minor adjustments to like the map display and set your map position. That's for the CTab. Now looking at the Android, it has basically the same functions, but it's just a smaller version, as you can see. Like you can have here the map options, click here, and you can get to the message section. So it's more than enough for a squad leader, for example.
I got a question about the UAV terminal.
Yes, the UAV terminal or the CTab?
UAV terminal.
We're getting there.
Okay.
Good. Now that we have looked a bit about this stuff, we're going to look about a bit of strategies. Like I always say, this is not going to be a master solution or a master key. Every strategy will be highly dependent on the terrain, on your current assets, on the enemy situation, on the general situation, on everything. I always say, like, every plan is a good one until first contact. The contact dictates the further operation. So you can plan as much ahead as you want for all chains. That's why leaders have to be very adaptable and reliable and to be able to react quickly. And that's something you learn. And I really urge people that are now afraid by this to still try it. Like, it comes with experience and doing it all over and over and over. Like, I couldn't do this for nothing. Like, I watched a lot of videos. I got myself a feeling how people do this. But everyone works differently. So my methods might not work for you. But I'm going to give you like general understanding on like the most important points. So if you want to attack, try to use a covered approach. So you have cover, you can take cover. Also, height is of the essence. If you are in an elevated position, you have the advantage. Like now, where we have an example, like looking here, like you have like here is like the hill top. So that's like basically how the top line is. Like if you go here, you go downhill. If you go here, you go also downhill. You get what I mean? So basically, if we were now to attack this sector and we're under heavy fire, you can just fall back and use the top of the hill already has cover. that's like a really big advantage. A really big advantage that the enemy doesn't have, because the enemy has either just the cover he has or none. Like, you have the natural cover of just going a few meters back. The enemy doesn't have that. That's why it's of the essence to use the height to your advantage. So, now a bit elaboration theory. So, all cities or objectives have a cap radius. This is now only approximative. Yeah. If there are more than 7 people in that radius, the cap will activate and spawn its troops. So if you're below that player count and have positions yourself in the city, don't pocket, get out of there, then pocket. I have seen it many times. I have tried many times. It doesn't work. You just have like 10 Russians spawning on top of you, shooting holes into you. Doesn't work. So, keeping that now in mind, I'm going to make it a bit bigger just for an example. Let's make it like this. An example. So, now we look to the map, good positions. We want to assault the city. Always a good idea is to spread out your elements. Like, you don't know, many times you don't know how the enemy is focused, and especially if the cap is not procced, there won't be enemies spawned yet, so you have to guess where they're gonna spawn. And that's nearly impossible. So you want to prepare yourself as much as possible. And like, this goes for squad level or company level. Like, the only difference is like the distances. So on squad level, it's gonna be much closer where you wanna distribute your squad. But the theory is the same. So that's like theory for like all 3 types of command. So I'm going to do it on a platoon level though, because that's like what you're most commonly gonna do if you're playing platoon leader for once. So looking at this, we want to assault the city. We want to spread out our elements to prevent like having our elements stationed at a point that is gonna be too strong for us. Yeah. And like lose our whole platoon. So we want to spread out and have like the hope that only one squad is going to be hit hard while the others can react. So, looking at the map.
You want to do it together?
So, looking at the map, back to our city up here. We have like an interesting point of hate here. 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 And like this whole section here. And it's full of rocks, which are really good cover. Natural cover. So our platoon, now we're going for the best case, saying that our platoon has 4 elements, so 4 squads. So we don't want to pocket yet, we want to give all elements the chance to get into position. So what do we do? So that's mostly what we use for our elements to move. So I'm gonna turn it and say that's like going to be the 1-3 HP holding point. Like basic terminology, you have HP for holding point, OV for overwatch position, OW. You have FP for fire position. So basically, we're going to start with like 1-1. Like 1-3 is not going to have eyes on, so we give them a holding point. Here is a good overwatch position. Not really that much to see, but it's a good one. We're giving that to 1-1. Now, 1-4 is a really good squad to hit armor. So we want to place them somewhere where they have a good view of that field here. Like they can cover big distances actually. So let's say, for example, and like now I'm giving the importance of like not proccing it, because like the map is great. Like you can estimate the terrain, but in the end, you do not know how it really is if you don't have a proper eyes on. So those are good plans. Like this here could be a great position because it's very elevated. But if that now were in forest, you could maybe end up having the problem that the trees around are so big that they block the view you thought would be so great. We're going to assume anyways that there are no trees. So we're going to put 1-4 on a nice elevated position, overlooking the whole area, and that's going to be their fire position. So they're mostly gonna stay there for the beginning. And we're gonna put like, what do we have left? 1-2 here. OV/fire fire position. So that's our basement, our base strategy. That's like for like getting intel. How is the or giving the people also time to move. So now we want to proc the radius. And we see like this hill is good. It's good cover and it's in the radius. So why not use this advantage? So we're going to give them the order to like set up a fire position here. And these things can actually be planned in advance because there's no big risk of like loss, because like I'm going to explain it real quick. If you look, it's nearly a covered movement and there's small distance to be covered, and in case like these two elements can provide fire support because those are not gonna move. That's gonna be their final position for the initial engagement. So while they try to draw fire, 1-1 can move up somewhat safe, and like 1-3 has the natural cover, so they just move up from behind the hills, so they're still gonna have a good time. So how to proceed now? And that's why I say it's highly situational, depend on the situation. Now assuming like here in that part are like heavy contacts and Lob 1-1 is getting their ass beat, but on the other hand, in this sector the resistance is fainting, that's an opportunity. On the field, information is key. And that's why I always recommend that like squad leaders and platoon leaders report to the next higher instance. So they are aware of what is happening there. How much contact we have. How necessary or how fast do they need help? Because if I can follow the situation all from the beginning until the end, I can also better adapt the help. So if I'm now getting told like if 1-1 is under heavy fire, but 1-3 says, yeah, for us it's like we have like small contact, small resistance. I know the enemy is mostly focused around here and neglecting this. Of course, we don't know what's in this city, but that's an opportunity we want to take. We want to get foot into the city. If we have foot in the city, we can set up advancement paths. So, as the resistance is fainting, we're gonna have 1-3 try to move in. And as soon as they're with the walls, they have cover. And then the CQB begins. And also, their approach is like covered by 1-4 because they can overview this, and like they also have their launcher, so they have thermal vision, giving a great advantage. So if they have now foot, 1-1 can try to draw fire, and now also depending on the situation, we can either have 1-2 move up or move the path here, trying to support, not really like this, but like somewhat like this, to support 1-1. And that's like very dynamic, something you cannot anticipate. It's really situational dependent. That's why I say information is key. Now, seeing that 1-3 has now gained foot and also is now drawing fire, we can have like the other elements move up. Like we can begin with 1-1 under cover of 1-2. Like 1-2 is gonna provide fire support, suppression fire, draw fire, whatever the enemy likes. Yeah. And then in the beginning, we can move all our elements up. You see? And this is already like a really good plan. It's not too complex. It's open for like a variation. What could happen? Like what could go wrong? Like you have to always account for something you not expect. And like this is only a rule of thumb how you can do it and like what to respect when you want to attack. Yeah. Like try to use attack routes that have cover, like here. Try to use elevated positions. That's not gonna always be possible, of course. But if you have the advantage, use it. Get eyes on. Get elements that can support, that have like eyes on, and like can provide assistance if necessary. Yeah, make use of your squads. Any questions so far? Because this topic can be very complex.
Now this was very interesting actually, because like I followed the training also yesterday, but still it's like I learned so much more even now that you explained it. So
I'm happy to
I
hear.
have no question.
Like we can discuss like later on. I'm gonna have like a open end. Like the training has an open end with a Q&A, so we can discuss these things in more in depth if the need is there and if people want to. But like that's like the baseline of like somewhat getting a feel of how to manage your team. Like if you have a squad, like you can like have fire team 1 like take the first half of the compound and fire team 2 the other half. So many possibilities, but also situational dependent. Good. And I'm happy to see that this works. So, as was already requested, we're going to continue with the MQ9 Reaper first. So, MQ9 Reaper, disclaimer, can only be operated by company command, which is 6.6, 6.7, and 6.8. They're the only ones that are allowed to use the MQ9 Reaper, and they are not allowed to use it for calling fire missions. They are ISR only. Okay? So, but the JFOs, so 1.8 and 2.8, have the possibility to get a data for their use and to support the platoon. Gunner optics will be the same, but the heights and distance will be different. But like for this example, we're just going to take the Reaper because some people also do not know how to properly use it. So the Reaper is nearly always on the airfield because of its size and the fact it is a plane. So because we have now multiple Reapers, normally you have only one Reaper, and then you can't know which one it is. It should be this one. Yeah, you see, we have now selected the one next to us. So that's how you use the terminal. So we open up the terminal if we have it in our GPS slot. We open it, select the proper drone, and then just go into driver. And then we start it up. I'm going to enable my sounds real quick. And I'm going to get onto TeamSpeak as well. So I can get clearance. Because like if you want to start that drone, if possible, you might want to check in with the FAC or the JFO and clear with the stalkers or like Reaper, whatever we have currently in the air, that the airfield is clear, that we can safely take off without crashing into any other one who tries maybe to land. Yeah, who knows? Things can happen. So we want to prevent these things. So I try to get a hold of people, but if they do not respond, I'm also saying like it's not my fault. So the training map normally has no frequencies. 30 radio check. Nothing. 70 radio check.
Lima Charlie 70.
This is 6 on 70. Be advised, drone is lifting off airfield. Stay clear. Over.
Solid copy 6.
Like giving the people a heads up that the drone is inbound, just to avoid crashes. Like as I say, communication is key. Like it isn't a bad thing. So what you want, if you like, that's only for those who gonna play company command, of course. But like keep in mind that the Reaper has a very big wingspan, so you want to make really big turns. I already managed to get stuck in the fob walls. So once we're on the one way, you want to get full throttle and wait until you reach 100 kilometers per hour. That's like takeoff speed. Now we have 100 and we just pull it up. We track our gear. Make sure it is on a ascending course. And we're just going to leave it as it is. Now we are connected. I'm pressing control and then giving her a point to fly. Control left click. Now I'm going to right click this point and give it like to ascend to height 2000. So you see it's going up, as we can also see here with the altitude. Of course, if you're climbing, speed is gonna drop. That's normal. So like you maybe want, if we don't have that much room, you want to have like you don't ascend on over friendly lines. No risk of being shot down. And as soon as it reaches that, we want to get them onto the AO. Not like this. Like I already did the mistake. So if you have now want to add a waypoint, you press shift. No, my bad. You press shift to set only one. You press control, my bad. And then it's going to add another one. And here, I'm gonna give it an untätig in German, but in English it's loiter. What this means, it's gonna loiter around this point with the distance I'm now giving it. Like I'm saying it circle around 1,200 kilometers around that marker, and it's gonna do that. So we're gonna let the drone lift off, get into the air. This is 670. Be advised, drone up in the air. Airfield clear. Over.
Solid copy 6.
So now that the drone is sent, we're going to take a quick look at like a bit of CAS. How to request it if there's no 1.8 or 8. Because you have to manage yourself if there's no. Like, beginning with the easiest pass to Stalker and stuff. Stalker is operating on 7.0. So basically you just get on 7.0, check in with Stalker, and like explain what you want and ask if it's possible. Like what I normally do is like let Stalker decide how they want to fly, how they want to land, and where they want to land, because like they have more experience in the air than I have. So I trust them. Yeah. That's how we do it with Stalker. Same goes for Ogre. Ogre is on 3.4, by the way, for reference. But like I'm going to share that table that you saw in the beginning with everyone, where also frequencies noted, so you can use this as a cheat sheet. So, artillery. Artillery, there are two ways to request it. Like, we're going to assume that there's no 1.8 for the time being, and an 8. So basically, what you can do is predefine markers. That's something we sometimes do, is like, we just go ahead, grab us the X, and I'm going to get back at 0. There you go. And like, we mark them TRP 1, TRP 2, and so on and so forth. TRP 3. Something we also do is like preventive TRPs. So on strategic positions, we place like TRP 4. Then further down the road, TRP 5 to engage incoming convoy, for example. Like if we're being over 1 and the enemy is getting past our first defense line, that could be a last resort, for example. So you just give Savage the marker you want hit with how much ordnance you want. So HE, how many times. And maybe also the spread. Or like along the road only. Remember that Savage has always their inaccuracies because of the gun. And like physics itself. So they're not going to be 100% accurate, but I'd say like they are 100 meters accurate. If they have a good day. So, yeah. So, if you want to do this with preventive markers, it's important to keep also in mind the distance and the time the shell will take. Because Savage first has to do their calculations after receiving the order to properly adjust their gun. Like bearing, azimuth, and stuff. They have to first adjust that. Then, the shell travels some time, depending on how far Savage is out. So the shells will never hit immediately. Can be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So we have to keep that in mind. And that also requires some experience. And I'm gonna be honest, I do not have that experience to begin with. Yeah. That's the easy way. The other way is with 10-digit coordinates. SOPs require that you have eyes on the thing you're shelling. So you can be certain that there's no ally units in there or civilians. Yeah. Also, now a reminder, side mark on Savage SOPs. Savage is not allowed to shell civilian targets or blue for targets within 200 meters. So, assuming like this city is like, where is it? Is a civilian target. Savage has to keep clear of this 200 meters by the last building. So from here up to here. Like Savage could only shoot up to here. Everything between here, no go. Yeah. Same goes for blue for units, 200 meters. The only one who can authorize danger close fire missions on civilian targets that are under siege or about to being overrun is 6-6 and 6-6 only. No one else has the authority to do otherwise. Okay? So, as we want to have line of sight of what we're hitting, where's the tower that I saw that last time? So, 10 digit. Savage needs 10 digits to operate. And like, as you see, CTab only gives us 6 digit. That's not enough. Therefore, you're going to need the Vector, 21 Knight, and, where did I put it? The MICRODagr GPS. Essential. You will need those. So, you open, I hope I haven't changed the keybind. So you open the MICRODagr with home, and pressing another times your +1 or home key, it opens up big. Like you have like a digital compass, a map. Like you can just have the compass here. You see, can be helpful. Now, we want to connect this with the Vector. That's possible. We click at the top bar here, connect to, and we have this menu now. Now we have this menu. Now we just need to get our Vector. The Vector is very complex and can do a lot of stuff. If you want to read through it, I'm just going to show you how to measure distance and angles. So the bearing and the distance. But that thing can measure elevations, distances between 2 points. That thing is crazy what it can. And if you want to learn more about this, I highly recommend you checking out the ACE page because that's very well explained with very nice pictures. So, looking at our targets, we want to attack this container. Let's say it's filled with Russians. So, to determine the bearing, we hold and press tab. You see, 354 appears, which is our bearing. Which is apparently also the drone view for me. And if we hold R until this red circle appears and then release, we can get the distance. If you press now the two together, we get the bearing and the distance. So this enemy positions it at 354 degrees at 1.5 kilometers. Now, you're gonna notice, if I get out of here and open my MICRODagr, you're gonna see.
Gotta go for now.
Sure. You're gonna see that you have now data in here. So the distance and the bearing we had. Yeah. So what is now relevant for Savage are these 10-digit coordinates and this, which is the elevation above 0, so above the water. Because like, if the target is low, Savage could risk to overshoot it. If the target is high, Savage could risk to undershoot it. That's why the height is of essence and very important. Yeah. So, if you want to now do a Savage fire mission, you basically begin with going on at 40. Like, we assume again that no JFO and FAC is there. If a FAC were there, you would check with the FAC, but like, it's ultimately you who only can order that fire mission, and the FAC can only approve or decline it, and like relay the order. That's all he can do. Like the JFO and the 1-6 and 6-6 and 6-7 are the only ones who can properly order it. So, assuming none of those are there, you're a platoon commander, you need fire support. Also, a disclaimer, everything below platoon commander cannot request fire support. They're basically unfucked. As sorry as I am. So, platoon commander, you have now these informations you need for Savage. So, you get on net 40, which is artillery direction. So, Savage net. And you begin like with making a request and see if Savage is either ready and is ready to receive your data. So you're gonna go on 40 and press the radio key and then go ahead. Savage, this is 6 on 40. Fire mission over. So you're stating your intent and letting Savage know you're here for a fire mission. Now Savage confirms that he is ready to receive. So we begin with giving Savage again the confirmation that it is a fire mission. Then we give the coordinates with single numbers and a break between 5, like the 5 first and the 5 last. And then we give the elevation here. Then we specify ordnance how much if we want to spread, and then additional informations. Where are the closest allies? Now we're gonna assume that where we're shooting, we have allies to the south. No, I have to see. What are we looking at? Are we looking north? Just making sure. Yeah, we have allies to the south. So we're going to advise Savage to that we have allies to the south, so that he pays maybe attention to overshoot maybe a bit to the top than to the bottom. Yeah, but don't take my word for it. I'm not a Savage expert. So Savage is ready to receive. Now we're going to go as follows. Savage, this is 6 on 40. Fire mission at 0, 0, 8, 4, 9, break, 2, 0, 2, 8, 4, 8, break, elevation, 5, 4, 5 times, HE, spread 200 meters. You have others to the south, 200 meters, over. Like, those are key informations. Like, you can extend with more information, but that is all Savage needs to know. That's for Savage. Like, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Now we have CAS assets. Air, like helicopter or plane. And now there's a key difference. Those move and they make attack 1. So they do not like the Apache can be stationary and shoot with its gun and missiles. But now we're assuming that we have like the little bird. That thing is not stationary. That makes a fly over while shooting. And it's important that you want to make sure that it doesn't shoot over to your friendly units. That's why I have to say, like, give it an attack pattern. So we're gonna prepare it a bit. So we say, let's get on a range. Yeah. Oh, no, where's the range? Is it used? Yeah. So we assume we have now allied in here, allied infantry, and we have like a Russian armor, like mechanized convoy along this street. So you can order an attack 1. I'm going to really quick close my thing so we have the compass. So we can order an attack 1 from the north, from the south. We don't want an attack 1 from the west because we risk hitting targets. Of course, this is now danger close and needs authority from 6, but that's now a perfect example because why it's important to specify these things. So we want, for the most effectiveness, an attack 1 from the east to the west. Yeah. So that's gonna be our attack direction. So now we also assume, let's say, somewhat AA capabilities here, just to make it a bit more interesting. So that's a bit of more theory, but it's important. So we don't want our CAS asset to enter the zone. So we want to approach it from the southeast and then make an attack 1 from the east to the west and also exit to the southwest again. To south. Like in this case, you just say south and they can do it themselves. So that's for an attack 1 and a gun 1 on a longer distance. Now we're gonna assume we have a specific target we wanna have destroyed, because like why I'm now changing this is because like you have also one more key option you can do if you have it with you, of course. That depends on if you take the vector or a laser marker, but you can laser targets as well. And then tell your CAS asset that you're lasering the target and they can lock onto that laser. So we're going to make now without laser though. So same protocol, you go on 770 for this. And like you make a fire request. So what shall we take? Demon or Reaper? Reapers or plane. They have a harder time, so making it more important. So same beginning. Reaper. This is 6 on 70. Fire mission. Over. Reaper confirms if they're ready. Reaper, this is 6 on 70. Reference map we have 1 times mechanized convoy to west, 1 times gun 1 from east to west, approach from southeast, assumed anti-air to the north. You have allies to the east of target, within 100 meters, danger close authorized by 6, exit by south. Over. I have to admit, I'm not doing a lot of cast requests, and they are very rare that you do them. But like you saw, I told them what I want, a gun 1 along the convoy, how to approach from southeast, like first the gun 1 direction from east to west, from the south with ingress, exgress to the south, also informing him of a possible AA threat to the north, and allies within 100 meters. Yeah? Any questions? Because that one was the more complex one. Great. So, having seen this now, getting back to our drone. So, using our terminal, we now see that our drone is circling around this point, as I wanted. So we're going to take control of the gunner. What you want to do, by the way, is set up your render distance to 5 kilometers. How you can do this, you have your enter button, and left to it you have 2 buttons. You press control and the bottom one, and want to set up to increase your render distance on foot, because the drone does not count as air. It counts as foot. So, now, let's say we're looking here, we don't know where we're looking at. Okay, this map is very easy to read, but assume we don't know where we're looking at. The drone has a nice feature called map slew. So I'm going to select this, it's going to open the map. And now I can select a point where I want to look at. Let's say I want to look at the city. And we're going to see the camera is automatically going to move onto it. And keeping onto it. You can also manually like fix the camera onto a target with Control T. And even if you leave it, it's going to still be locked onto that position. With Control T, you undo it. So, do we have anything flying around? Because... nope, unfortunately. But like, if you have vehicles in the air, you can just press T, and it's gonna lock onto them. Like, you don't have weapons, but it's gonna lock onto them. And what is neat about this, even if you look away, it's still gonna keep the lock, and you can find back that vehicle. Allied vehicles are marked with an X into that lock, so do not shoot onto those, or then you know that those are allies. If you now press Control T on a vehicle, exactly on a vehicle, the drone will actually follow that vehicle with the camera, which is also very neat. Now, we see stuff and we want to mark it. Like, let's assume there's a helicopter there. Like, we could open the map and try to... like, here it's very easy, like, we see it. Now, for example, we are, like, here on the road. Where here on the road is that? And, like, you can just go ahead. You have, like, these mark target options. Black, blue, and red. And basically, I can just press them. And then, where I'm currently looking at, it's gonna create markers. And, like, then I know that's where I looked. And that's where I'm gonna replace, like, with my proper NATO symbol. Then I know, there's enemy. That's for marking. Now, ISR purposes. So, going here. Like here we have our opt for identification area. So, now, if it's like, it's not gonna always be daytime, or it's gonna be hard to spot. You have like some, like the night visions that are not working with N, because it's day. If you press another time N, you're gonna get this view. And you see, that's thermal vision. Those are our thermals. Let's see. We're gonna do a quick flyover over the airport after we're done. You have also the inverted thermals, where heat signatures are marked with black and cold white. And then you can get back to normal. You then also have like modded thermals, which you can activate with B. And you see already the difference. Like, the vehicles are highlighted. while still seeing all the map contours, which is really nice, really awesome, no? So if you press not at MP, you have it inverted. And you can also use this actually in combination with night vision. So you enable the night vision, press B, and what this then means is basically, well, you can also see now light sources in combination with heat sources. Very nice. Any questions so far? I'm gonna move the drone over the airfield.
Just wanted to say that I really like the other version of like the night vision and stuff. You know, like the
The
one
modded
with the
one?
B. You know.
Yeah.
It
is really
much more clear.
Yeah, and I just found this out randomly, but like these are really good. Like I'm speaking from experience. Like sometimes the other ones are better. Like there was one static position I didn't saw on the modded ones, but on the with the normal vision thermals. But like the biggest win I think are like the that you can combine the night vision with the heat thermals. Yeah. So now we're over the airfield. Now we can press B, and we see immediately. We can immediately see me. And that's what I mean. Like, you have very clear. Like, we can now go on to the normal thermals. Like, you can still see me, but not at the clarity we had on the prior ones. Like, they are still good. I'm not denying this. But the other ones are simply making your life much easier. Oh, here we have a vehicle. Now I can show you. It's unmanned, so... Wait. Let's get the other one. You see immediately the difference, how clear it is. Like, you can fairly easily identify targets. So, if I now press D again. Let's leave those real quick. You see, there's this rectangle. And if I now press Ctrl T onto that rectangle on the vehicle, it's gonna lock on. You saw it automatically jumped. And now if that vehicle were to move, the camera would follow. We can undo this lock with Ctrl T. And with T, we can remove the lock. That's how it generally works. That's now for the spotting. Any more questions with these types of things?
All clear, Chief.
So you can also slew to a grid. That's possible. You can also change the loiter manually. So that's like the distance of the circle I told.
Actually, a question came to my mind.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Like, in minutes, approximately, how long can this thing fly?
Hours,
Or
2
like
hours.
stay in the air?
Like it can. I had it already 2 hours. Like
Oh, well,
at least
that's
1 hour plus 1 hour. Like it's very long. And its
Alright.
deployment time isn't too long. Like deployment takes 15 minutes. And landing also another 15 minutes. So it would be out of order for like half an hour only.
All right. Also, I think on the training yesterday, I'm not sure. Maybe you didn't like about the auto landing or the land.
Yeah, we're going to
the
talk about this auto landing.
Okay.
now. So
Okay,
basically,
okay.
if you want to land it, we're giving it the waypoint here onto a marked airfield and give it the type land. So as you can immediately see, the drone is decreasing. Not yet. As soon as it passed this marker, it's going to decrease altitude. And this only, from experience, only works with airfields that are marked with these yellow things, which is an ArmA defined airfield for the landing autopilot. I don't know if it works with unmarked ones. I have never tried it, and I'm not willing to try it. So you can see the drone is gonna scare us now soon, because something it did yesterday, but I was not expecting. Okay, so what it did yesterday was basically, I'm gonna to turn off the audio. You have the luxury of not hearing the audio. So, what it did yesterday, basically, it just like made a nosedive onto the airfield, and I was like thinking it was like doing like completely losing control. And no, it wasn't. What it was basically doing, it was rapidly decreasing and losing altitude for quick landing. And you see now, the marker has disappeared, but it's going to turn around, trying to decrease altitude normally. I hope it isn't doing bullshit. Yeah, you see, now it's doing a rapid descent, and that scared the hell out of me yesterday because drone from time to time does problems. Like, I often have the problem after the second takeoff, it won't follow orders. You know what? I'm scared. Let's redo the landing marker just to be sure. Like, it's better safe than sorry. And the landing marker, it's really no point in not doing it. But you see now, the drone is auto-adjusting and making an approach to the airport. So you don't need to manually land it. It can do this by itself. No need to worry. Yeah? So now once it lands, as soon as it lands, I often go into the driver and just take control and get it off the airfield. Now I actually forgot to make a landing announcement, but it doesn't seem to have any assets in the air to begin with. So yeah, you see now it's doing a nice approach. And as soon as it touches down, I'm gonna hit the brakes because I want to get this first exit so we can immediately despawn it. Oh, by the way, the wheel, you turn the wheel by using Q and E, not A and D. You need to use Q and E, by the way. Very important. And like, every time I play company command, I'm using the drone. The drone is such a great tool. You wouldn't believe how good it is. And now we have successfully landed the drone. Questions? Nope. Great. So, talking a bit about gear now that we're still here. Depends on what you play. The squad wants to have more ammunition for like counters because you're more at the front line. The platoon commander is a bit more on the rear lines, but still at the front lines, but not intended to charge. And companies to stay as safe as possible. So let's not talk about them. Something you want to have is obviously your long range. Like, as you can see, I actually have both a laser marker and the vector. I also use both because, like the Android, I haven't told this before, you can just add it onto the screen at the bottom and you can actually increase or decrease the distance depending on how you move. Like, if you're in a city, you want to have close because, like, if you have a squad, your squad mates that also have an Android or a ROC tablet are marked on there. Not with a NATO marker, but like with the unit marker, like this green circle with the triangle on it. How I'm marked currently. That's how your mates are gonna be marked in the color that you assigned them to as well. Like, you can just go red, go blue, and you're gonna see those colors. Very neat and a very nice feature. And like, if you're doing big marches, you can just zoom out, trying to keep a track of the company, for example, yeah, or the platoon. Also, something that's more of a platoon thing, if they can't even get it. I know that the JFOs can get it. So if you have the possibility, take a SATCOM with you. What is this? Why is it so useful? Basically, you can place it over the ACE menu. And this little thing, what it basically does, it boosts your signal. So for it to work, the receiver has to be also near a SATCOM. So you have to have a point-to-point connection between two SATCOMs. It does that automatically, so no need to do anything. But basically, like, let's say our company commander were to be here. That's where our company commander is. And like, we want to talk to him over short range. That's actually something we did. And like, if he's near a SATCOM, I'm near a SATCOM, we can just use the short range for that distance actually. And we have no interference at all. A short range that has only 5 kilometers range. Why is this useful? Like, I'm going to give an example for the recent power drop operation we had on the last map. I was playing 7, the company XO, and I was mostly taking care of logistics and air because we had no FAC. And I then deployed into the field. And like, I was on 30 where I was listening to all the company radio, but I also was on 36 for direct contact to the commander, the company commander, for quick inquiries and to like just like get traffic off 30. But at the same time, I was also monitoring 70 and 71 for managing the air and the logistics via air. So we sometimes did at the initial phase, because I had to get set up with my SATCOM in the AO. We used 30, of course, but as soon as I had deployed the SATCOM, we used the short range over 3.6 again. So you see, that little thing is very helpful. And you can pick it up again and take it with you. Also,
yeah, I actually saw you using it on the video of
Yes.
operation you had on YouTube.
and that's why I noticed that
Yeah.
like I don't know if you noticed, but like you then saw like me, you know that the company commander is far behind our alliance, and how the heck is he talking to him over a short range radio? No? And that's the question. That's the answer. So also a quick disclaimer, these antennas. Like there are people who have them completely out, and there are also people who have them retracted. Like this. I'm just going to say retracting makes a difference of 10 kilometers of range. So this can be very useful if you're like only a squad leader. If you're above squad leader, get the most range you can. Because like the company commander is not going to be always nearby you if you're playing platoon. Good. This. So also something I advise all commanders, no matter which kind of leadership, is to already predefine your radio channels and to set up additional channels. So on your radio, you have the possibility to define additional channels and make use of that ability, because you can set keybinds to directly radio onto additional channel without switching to the frequency. And why this is really great, you can listen to 2 frequencies at the same time on each radio. Like you can select like the radio you're listening to, and the additional one is always going to be selected. So yeah, but you cannot always send on it. So what I always do is use my primary frequency. Example, if I'm now a platoon commander, my primary frequency is gonna be 3.1 because I want to be always aware what my platoon is doing. So we're setting 3.1. I prefer using channel 9 for this. Then I'm setting an additional channel, and as my radio key, that's personal preference, is on the right side of my keyboard, I'm going to set it also to my right ear, and because my right ear is the stronger one out of the 2 ones. Now I'm going to set the other channels onto the left one, and I'm going to define them. So 30, 32, 34. So basically company, second platoon, ogre, emergency medical net if necessary, artillery, savage, air, and request for fire, which is like 1.8 and stuff. So I want to set those up. And then I'll go into 8, which is my neutral channel. That's something I do as company commander because primarily I only listen on 30 and join into frequencies as I need. But now, what is the advantage? Now, because I have it predefined, I can just go ahead and switch the channels as needed. You see? Like, I'm like listening to 30, and then I'm realizing I need immediate fire support. I can just switch to 40, and there we go. That's why I really recommend to really set these things in advance. And like you see also, now I can like radio on 3.9, where I can also go ahead and radio on this without changing the channel, yeah? Like here I can change the channel, but on the other key, it's going to always send on 3.1, no matter what I do, no matter what channel I have. Same goes for the short range. Like taking a quick look at the short range, you define the additional channel with this button and the stereo settings if you want to have it left or right here. So fairly easy. And it doesn't seem like much, but it makes a really big difference. Not always having to open up, change the frequency. Very quick access, very easy. Something you also wanna maybe some terminology. You wanna learn.
Hello?
Hello.
Why is the server not up?
You mean the Liberation server?
Mm-hmm.
If you would follow the news channel, it was stated that the map was finished and they're currently preparing the next one.
Is it gonna be up soon?
I guess so. But not today.
Wait, no. Oh my god.
No, it's
why?
gonna be the next few days. Like a map change can take up to weeks.
Why can't they? Why don't they prepare it first before taking it down?
Yeah, don't ask me. But if you excuse me, I would like to continue my training I was currently doing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So where was I? No, I lost track. Yeah, radio calls, procedures. So some terminologies like CTab and CASWeb. They have a lot of meaning. So if I come on as 6, I'd want a fast report of what is happening and how the status of first platoon is. I'm just going to go 1-6. There's a 6. Over. 1-6 with pause. 1-6 sitrap. Over. And then he knows I want a report of the current situation. Something interesting for medics, or if you just want to have the casualty status, like you can get a CASWeb, which is a casualty report. Yeah. So these can make like those basics much, much faster. Questions so far?
All clear, Chief.
Because that would actually already mark the end of most of the stuff. Like, we're now at the point of the open end and like talking about SOPs. And because we have so many SOPs, I do this on a request, what you want to know, and we have unclarities. And depending on what you want to achieve, I can also go over those you would need to know. So
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's even hard, like sometimes it's even hard to know what to ask for, until you find yourself, for example, in a situation that you are not clear of. But like, for example, I like followed 2 of your trainings, and like even today I learned some stuff which maybe I didn't remember or something like that, but actually I asked some questions this time which I didn't remember before, and yeah, you're very good at explaining like many things actually, which are not easy even to explain. I mean,
leadership
so
in
you
general
did
is
it.
something people take for granted and take very easy, but like it's a hard topic and it's a topic where failure will happen and where you will have many problems, people not obeying, people ignoring standard operating procedures, everything like this happens. So you have to keep a cool head and either report them, get Odin, get the next high instance on the server, whatever. But
Yeah,
like,
I sorry, but a question popped in my mind, and like I had it before, I forgot it, and now I have it back in my head. So, to not risk forgetting, can I ask the question?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, if you like in like, what do you think or what do you suggest if you are playing such roles as platoon leader or like something of this like importance? Would you recommend like recording the time that you are playing?
Like, you can, of course, like, that's up to you if you want to do it.
But would you suggest it? I mean, because like let's say you order some kind of like savage fire, and then they miss the target like by a lot, or they
Oh,
say that you
about
gave
this,
them the...
like, you can do it, but like, I know that people are not that hard on you because, like, if it savage misses, it's not going to be fully savage responsibility. It's also going to be the one giving coordinates, but like both are at fault, and we're still a public server, and mistakes like these are inbound to happen, and we cannot like evade them. So they are going to happen, basically. And nobody's gonna be really mad. Like, at the heat of the moment, of course, people are gonna be mad, but afterwards, it's gonna be a laughing matter. So
Yeah, I get
you
it.
can record it. It's like good for like the admins that they know like you did nothing wrong, but like in the end, you don't really need to. Like, I record, but only because I upload some videos onto YouTube. Also now giving onto that topic, if you have like people really going against, like not following SOPs, disappointing orders, like we're a public server, but we have a hierarchical structure which are also set by the rules. So if an Odin is online, you can contact Odin. If not, you can use the admin channel to report. Basically,
Yeah,
that's
makes
this.
sense.
But like you have to work with those people. Like, best example, I once had was platoon leader, had 2 squads, and we were really thin stretched because we had no ogre, no stalker, so I had to assign vehicles to them. And I had 1 squad up in the north defending, 1 squad in the south defending. It was bullshit, and 4 was on attack. And I couldn't get supplies or beans that's rolling because like we had no ogre or stalker. And basically that day, one of the squad leaders was really annoying for everyone because like he never found the need to inform me as platoon leader of the situation. He never found the need to contact Sion for anything. He just went straight to like savage and ordered artillery strikes, completely ignoring SOPs, completely not following the chain of command. I know that some of the Sion folks reported him, so. And you have to make do with this because like you cannot change it. It's a public server. It's part of the deal. Like you have days where you have really good mates, and you have times where you have really the annoying types. And you have to make do. So leadership, a lot of patience, and also some abilities to solve conflicts and de-escalate. Yeah.
Yeah, true, true.
Those are like skills I'd say like you don't need to have when you begin and want to try it out, but it's definitely skills that will be useful that you learn them, especially patience, because plans can take forever. And like also to take now the fear of command, like not even everything is going to be buttery smooth for us at the company level or platoon level. Like the best example is we had one times an orb where we a power drop behind enemy lines to take the radio tower to cut off the Russians from requesting battle groups, so we could just clear up the map. And basically we had first platoon doing the assault, and we wanted to have like a backup for battle groups that spawn to intercept them. So we had second platoon as QF. Unfortunately, as I said, like we cannot predict how the outcome of battles will be, and plans will never go as we planned them. Yeah.
True,
The
true.
second platoon ended up doing like 1 to 2 hours nothing, waiting in FOB as a QF. Like they complained, naturally. Like they complained, they were a bit mad that they didn't have anything to do. And it is noted. And like that's stuff from which we learn. Yeah. Of course, that day was not a good one, but like this is a day that helps us to prevent something like this and to plan these things better. Like we live from experience. We don't get experience from nothing. So we have our failures. Also, in my case, like I took responsibility of building a new FOB and got everything prepared and settled in. But then there were miscommunications, and Stalker somehow got ahead of us and already dropped the FOB crate at a designated site, and it then got stolen by enemy hide because nobody was near it. And those were the worst time of 2 hours of my life trying to recover that FOB crate, because for my perception it couldn't go fast enough, but like you still have then to keep in mind, like if there's enemy contact, we cannot move fast, you know. Stuff. But you see, not everything goes to plan, and like you can also end up losing a fair bit of like work hours on liberation. So don't be afraid, it happened. It's really natural. And as I said, we are public, so we're very forgiving because like we know that not everyone has the same skills and same level of experience. Yeah. I forgot maybe to show quick overview of the radio frequencies. So the command platoon, which is the command squad, which is like Assassin 6. I actually could change this real quick. So there's no confusion, you see that they are all on 3.6 with a short range, with all of them also being on 30, with the exception of 6.8 because he has to monitor like 70 and 72. That's why he's attached to the company, because like he can reach us on 3.6 if we need anything from him, you see. So we have a direct connection also to our air assets and support assets. Like first platoon has 3.1 with the section of 1.9 and 1.8 again, because they're also connected via 160 to the rest of the command squad. But like 1.8 has to monitor 7.2 and other frequencies if necessary, and 1.9 is also monitoring the emergency medical net, which all the medics are on. Yeah. Same goes for second platoon, and you see the short ranges are composed of like the squad's designation with a 0 behind. Then you have only ground logistic 3.4, medical net 3.9, request for fire 7.2, artillery direction 7.40, and the tactical air direction 70. That's it. Not really a lot behind it. You see, it's fairly easy. Yeah. Like we can also talk about SOPs if you like. Like you have also like a fair bit of like resources on the forum already, like now that we're talking about leadership. Quick overview over how applications work. We have two types. Like we have one times the air and ArmA applications, which are only open during specific times. Like they are opened up temporarily for a short time where people then can apply. Those accepted get an exam. Those pass the exam get the perms. Command and FAC and JFO exams are open 24/7, so you can take them at any time. Here are the links, and you just click on them and fill out. Like those exams are mostly going to be testing your knowledge about the SOPs and how you would handle situations. And then you have also some documents which are very helpful. Those are the SOPs. Here, resources. And what is really interesting is the op4 asset ID, how you can identify op4 assets. And with their names. Not all of them are here. Like there's also rocket artillery where I don't know the name of. Like a proper, like the big brother of like Katyusha. A Katyusha rocket launcher. I don't know. Like I don't know all the assets. Like I really should study those, I guess. Also, something I forgot to mention is if you have enemy air in the AO, you just go onto your net and like report where they are. So everyone knows we have enemy air. What I also do, as soon as I hear it, I just get onto like company-wide comms and like just like screaming where they are instinctively. So everyone is aware of the threat. And then it's going to be key communication to find out if the threat has been dealt with or not. So yeah, are there any other questions you might have?
Nah, I'm all clear now, at least for now. So
Like,
just want to thank you for like being so patient and like explaining things with details.
hey, if I wouldn't be doing this, there would be no need in doing this training, honestly. Like the things I really explained here are like points I really find important and are really things that you sometimes forget about leadership. Like I didn't saw how the other do their training, so props to them that they're also doing this because it's a great job. And like I saw that we had a platoon training, and back then when I was getting into the platoon command here on the server, I would have wished to have such a training. So for me, it was more of a learning experience. And I'll tell you, my first platoon leadership was a catastrophe because I intend to play as 1-7 to get experience alongside the 1-6. What happened? No 1-6 turned up. I was the highest in command, and I barely knew how the company worked. Yeah. And back then, I didn't know that I needed to know how the whole company works as a platoon commander. But like, it happens that you are platoon commander, have no company commander, so you have to also take over the roles of company commander. So it's very helpful to know how the company works even as a platoon commander. So per like SOPs you wanna know or give it at least a read. Like if you're a platoon commander, the platoon leader and the platoon medic, of course. Also the armor, artillery, and air cas. With focus on the platoon elements and the armor because the armor is under your command, so you know what the armor can do and whatnot. Company command fairly easy. Everything. So I know that we talked yesterday already, so I'm gonna say it again. If there are any questions, like use the chance now that you have someone who actually plays company commander or platoon commander, so you can get like ask them questions, like questions you always wanted to ask, or like how to get there, what could I recommend and stuff. Also SOP questions, because I know the SOPs give a really big room for interpretation. So I guess we talked in depth already yesterday.
Yeah, even today, like even the training today, really good.
Well, you know that I recorded this training this time, so I made it extensive as usual.
Yeah,
but like we
that's
had
pretty
also
good.
other people, like only 3 people, but like better than nothing. And I'm really happy to always
I
teach
mean,
people.
you had more yesterday, so.
Yeah.
But like